Hello ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're doing well. In this video, I will be teaching you 5 different knots that are very useful for everyday life. So we're going to start out learning the 2.5 hitch, which is a very common knot. Building off that, we're going to learn the taut line. Then we're also going to learn the clove hitch, the bowline, and the sheet bend. Enjoy. So to start out, we're going to call this the tag end, and then this big piece of rope is going to be the long end. To start with the 2.5 hitch, you're going to take your tag end, place it underneath the object, and of course this will translate differently if you're tying around a tree or another vertical object. But for this demonstration, you're going to pass it underneath and then back over, and then you're going to take your tag end, place it underneath the long end, so you make the number 4. Take the tag end, pass it through the loop you just made, so you'll end up with something like that. Then you're going to repeat the same step. Take your tag end, place it underneath the long end. So again, you make the number 4. Then again, you're going to take your tag end, place it through the loop you just made. So you'll end up with something that looks like this. You can cinch everything tight, and that is the 2.5 hitch. Now building off of the 2.5 hitch, we're going to learn the taut line, and this is a really neat knot. As soon as there's slack in the rope, I can adjust it to a different length, but then as soon as you add pressure, it tightens. So this is almost like a ratchet strap. Very handy. So once again, you're going to place your tag end underneath and over, just like the 2.5 hitch, and same step as we did with the 2.5 hitch. Now this is the difference. Before, we placed the tag end under here, and we will do that, but before we do that, we're going to take the tag end and make another loop, just like that. So now you have 2 loops. So do that again. So just like the 2.5 hitch, take your tag end, and then you're going to take your tag end and just pass it through again. Very simple, just like that. So then you have 2 loops right there. You can take your tag end, and then this is very similar to the 2.5 hitch. You take your tag end, place it underneath there. So you'll end up with a knot that looks like that, and then you can cinch it tight, or like I was demonstrating earlier, if you have slack in the line, then you can adjust to a new length. Now we're going to learn the clove hitch. To begin, you're going to take your tag end, place it over your object, and again, this will translate differently if you're tying around something vertical, but for this horizontal demonstration, you're going to place it over, and if you bring it around again, what you want to do is cross it over. So notice how we've just crossed it over that line. Take your tag end, wrap it underneath again, and pass it through this diagonal line, and then pull it tight. So you'll end up with a knot like this, and then you pull that tight, and it'll cinch itself, and that is a clove hitch. So there's a different way to tie the clove hitch, and this will work if you have an open end here. If you're tying around a tree or something that extends, then you won't be able to tie it. But to begin with this second method, you want to cross the line over itself. So you have something like this. And then with your long end, you want to do the same motion, but do it behind itself. So you end up with something like this. And then these 2 loops, you pass over each other, just like that. And then with this new loop, you pass it over the object, and then that is your clove hitch. And building off of this, I'll show you guys a little bonus knot. So instead of passing the loops over each other, you pass the loops through each other, like that. And then this actually is a rudimentary form of handcuffs. So you can push through here, pull these tight, and make a very homemade style of handcuffs. Hope you're never in that situation, but if you need to make some quick handcuffs, there you go. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, now we're going to learn how to tie a bowline. A bowline is a very useful knot just for making a loop, but also what's really neat about it is no matter how much tension you put on it, you will always be able to untie the rope. So very handy knot in that sense. The way you start out is making a loop in the rope like so. And it's important that you have your tag end cross over the long end. Then you take your tag end, pass it up underneath the loop, pass it again underneath the long end, and pass it back through the hole. And then if you grab the two ends, you'll have your bowline like this. Now there is a little nursery rhyme of sorts that goes along with this, so I'll teach you guys that and it might help you remember. So again, you're going to make a loop crossing over with the tag end, and then pretend that this is your rabbit. We'll call him Peter. Peter is going to come out of his hole. He's going to go around the tree, and Peter will go back down his hole to visit Floppy and Cottontail and Mopsy. And then you can pull tight, and there's your bowline. Alrighty, this last knot is called the sheet bend, and this is a substitute for the square knot. It's a very common knot. Problem is, it doesn't work very well if you have rope of different diameter. And so that is what the sheet bend can be used to correct. So with the sheet bend, you want to start with the tag end on the one rope up top, make a loop like so. Then you want to take your different rope, and of course you can do this with the same diameter rope. It just also works for different diameter rope. Take your rope of different diameter, place it underneath, and then underneath here. I'll go over this again. And then you want to take your tag end and place it underneath itself. And then you can pull tight, and there's the sheet bend. So we will run through that again. You want to make a loop, have the tag end on top, take your second rope, pass it underneath and up through, give yourself a little slack, pass it underneath the entire operation like so, and then take your tag end and pass it underneath itself through this other rope here. And then you pull tight, and that is the sheet bend. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I hope that these knots are useful to you and that you learned some things. If you want to watch a similar video on how to tie a trucker's hitch, I will post that right here. If you want to subscribe, feel free. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and again, thanks for watching.